ಹೃದಯದ ಮಾತೊಂದ ಬಿಚ್ಚಿಡು ಬಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಟ ಮನದ ಕನಸೊಂದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಮಯ ಮುಂದೆ ಇಡಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ನಿನ್ನ ಸಾಹಸ ರಥಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾರಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸಿದೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಾನಂಗಳ ಕೆಳಗೊಯ್ಯುವ ರೆಕ್ಕೆಯಾಗಿ ಕೂಡಿದೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಯೋರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್
You're muted.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರೇ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ನ ಈ ವಾರದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅತಿ ಆದರದಿಂದ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾವು ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಲೈವ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ ಹೇಗೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮರಿಬೇಡಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೇ ವಿತ್ ಅಸ್. US ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಸೀಸನ್. ಸೋ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್. ಐ ಮಿಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಈ ಸೀಸನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ರಜಾ, ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿಲಿ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗೆ ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಅಜ್ಜಾಜಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಕಡೆ ಟ್ರಿಪ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಐವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಬೇಲೂರು ಹಳೆಬೀಡು ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್, ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ, ಸನಾತನ ಧರ್ಮನ ಇನ್ನೂ ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುವಂಥ ಜಾಗಗಳಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟನೇ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಪಾಪ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರಿಪ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೇರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸನಾತನ ಧರ್ಮದ್ದು ಕಮ್ಮಿನೇ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ತುಂಬ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ನಾನು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಟುಡೇ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮನ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಜುಕೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಹೆರಿಟೇಜ್. ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಬಟ್ ಬೈ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಡಿನರಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ್ಯಾಟ್. 60ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅರಳೋ ಮರಳೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋ ಗಾದೆನ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಮಾಡೋರು ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. 72ರ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಹುರುಪಿನಿಂದ ಇರೋ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಅತಿಥಿನ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಇವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ನನ್ನ ಲೈಫ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಲೆಥರ್ಜಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅತಿಥಿ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದವರಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಹಂಗೂ ಹಿಂಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡನ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ತರಿಸ್ತಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ನ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇದೆ, ನಾವು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಆಗೋದು, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಸೊ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಡ್ಯೂ, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಯು ಟು ಶ್ರೀ ವಿಜಯ್ ರಾಜವೈದ್ಯ ಜಿ. ವಿಜಯ್ ಅವರು,
Good morning to everybody. Yes, welcome.
Thank you so much, Vijay ji. So I'm going to do a very brief introduction. Vijay ji is the Managing Director and CFO of India Currents, a publication for Indian American community. He has over 30 years of experience in Silicon Valley's high-tech and IT industry. Vijay ji is passionate about India's culture and history and shares this passion with Americans. He is also an active member of the Rotary Club, working on the literacy projects in India. Currently, Vijay ji is undertaking a significant project, walking 9,000 kilometers through India, visiting 12 Jyotirlinga temples. His objectives include funding educational research on Indian culture, promoting literacy, and encouraging senior citizens' participation. Vijay ji holds an MBA in finance and several graduate degrees in engineering, and he enjoys theater, flying, mountaineering, and also scuba diving. So we're going to be talking about this amazing walk of life called Jyotirlinga Padayatra in today's episode. Namaste, Vijay ji. Good
Namaste.
morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Thank you so much for a very, very good introduction. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. So during your introduction, I was talking about the Jyotirling Padayatra project.
Yes.
What inspired you to start this venture?
You know, that's a very good question to start the conversation with, because it goes so far back, the inspiration part, that many of people find it very strange. Because for the first time that I read about Adi Shankaracharya in my 7th grade. Imagine that. That was the first lesson. And right away, I thought when they described that he traveled all over the country, I thought it must be Lord Shiva himself. It is not about the human being. That was my as a childhood understanding. But I became the kind of very engrossed with this personality and what he did. So my Padayatra is actually a replication of Adi Shankaracharya's yatra through India in 722 AD. And that's where basically my inspiration comes from. And as a matter of fact, the objectives that you described, they are also contemporized objectives of Adi Shankar himself. That is what exactly he did. And when we talk more, we'll go into more detail about how it is related and how this is done. Adi Shankaracharya did just travel multiple times India. I'm just approximately following the route through the whole India, and later on you will see in the map how that looks.
I want to show our audience the map and the objectives, everything right now through the video that we have created. So let's take a quick break and look at the video that amazing. Thank you so much for sharing the information with us. Really inspiring. Let me also ask you, you talked about your inspiration and how it started. When did you start this journey? And what are some of your personal experience from the walk that you have completed so far?
Yes. So, uh, you know, this is the core of this thing that when did I start? I wanted to start this 20 years back. But somehow it was always something or the other which told me, okay, no, probably next year I should do that. And eventually I realized that I'm not getting younger anymore. If I did not do it soon enough, it may not happen. So I was in India in 2022 in the month of May. We all know how the month of May is, right? So I was in month of May, and that is when my wife was also kind of tired of hearing for 20 years about me telling her that I want to go and do this thing. So in 22 May, I was in India and I said that if I don't do it now, it's not going to happen. So I started it on 5th of May at 2 a.m. In 2022 from Ujjain. Ujjain is a seat of Mahakaleshwar, a Jyotirling temple. And I have a very strong connection with Ujjain. And Ujjain has a very strong connection with our culture and our history. By the way, Ujjain was called Avantika in ancient India. And it was the intellectual capital of India. So on 5th of May, 5th of May of 2022 at 2 a.m., it was very hot. So I thought if I start early, it'll be better. Uh, it didn't help much because it was still 100 degrees Fahrenheit at 2 a.m., by the way. So that is the day I started. And what I do is I go twice to India. I walk for 15 days. I cover nearly 500 kilometers. I walk every day, 15 days. Every day I walk between 35 to 45 kilometers. It is even 50 kilometers sometimes, depending upon how much energy I have and how is the terrain and how is the temperature and weather and everything. And I come back and then I go back and exactly start from the same place where I stopped previously. And you showed the map. I don't know if there was enough time for everybody to have a look at it, but that map sort of kind of describes that I start in the middle. Ujjain is right in the middle. And from Ujjain, I go down south to Omkareshwar. From Omkareshwar, I walked 800 kilometers to the west. Somnath is in Gujarat. And from Gujarat, there is another temple up Nageshwar or Nagnath, which is near Dwarka, which is the westernmost tip of India. And from there, I go to Kedarnath. And that is where exactly I am right now, on my way to Kedarnath. Last March, this March, 2 months back, I entered Rajasthan and stopped right next to Mount Abu. Probably everybody's familiar with Mount Abu. And that's from there. Next time when I go, I will start from there. So you asked me a very, very big question, actually, that what are my experiences? If you leave it to me, that will be the last question you ever asked, because I will continue talking to you for next hour or more than that about the experiences. Because yes, the experiences are very, very varied and very unique. I mean, imagine yourself, it is not just about the weather, but how many of us actually connect with rural India anymore? How many of urban Indians in India connect with rural India the way this walk is allowing me to connect? Because I'm walking. I'm walking through every small village or locality or towns. And importantly, I'm talking to people. I'm interacting with them. So the experiences are, one of my presentation slides is about just about the experiences, where it is the experiences with people, and among the people also experience of interacting with the youth. It is phenomenally different than what I knew about India or what many of us talk about. And interacting with older people, people who are so much culturally alive in the interior, and then interaction with the bigger world, the animals. I have walked through the forests. I have walked through the sanctuaries, animal sanctuaries. The last year, October, I walked through Gir Forest. It's a lion sanctuary. And I was a little bit concerned about that in the beginning. And so I'll talk about it in detail, maybe in the next question or something. But I want to give you the overview of this in this particular thing, and then go deeper into each segment of it, if you allow me to. But yeah, I have walked through places where I was so much sure that I'm going to see a leopard standing in front of me in next 5 seconds. That's how that's that close I came. And I was walking through these kind of places in the worst of times. You know what are worst of times? Worst of time is evening 6 p.m. and it is in the forest when you have a good forest around you. There is nobody with you, and it is summer. It's very hot, and then also there is a small rivulet somewhere nearby. This is the worst place to be at that time, because that's where the animals come to drink water. And I have been at that place and I have felt the presence. So then I was stopped also by some hyenas at some place, and I'll talk about that. And then there was this interaction about struggling to find the place where I can sleep in the night. You don't have the hotels and places everywhere that you can just go and book. You may be passing through town and maybe you will stay there. But there are, most of the time, I don't have a place to stay. So how am I finding the place to stay? And yeah, again, this also opens up a different question and different description. But just to give you the extent of it, that there's 2 months back in March in this segment, for the first time, when I could not find any place, I had to sleep in a gas station.
My
That was
God.
my night. Yeah, nice stop at the gas station in India, petrol pump we call it over there. And the so
Like, I'm just so amazed by everything that you're explaining about the difficulties that you're facing or you will face. I want to take a step back because during your introduction and even when we spoke yesterday, you also specified that you are 72 years old. And then you
yes.
asked me to, even during the show, make sure that you tell my age. And this is very inspiring. The reason I ask you this question is it's not going to be easy. See, even like for me, walking or hiking for a 6, 7, 8 miles, I'll be like so tired by the end of the day. Even having a very fit lifestyle. But my question to you is how do you prepare yourself? Like when you decide, hey, this is the 15 days I'm going to be spending in India, and how long does it take for you to prepare yourself to walk in this crazy, scary, paths that you have taken?
So there is one word you said in this question: prepare. I don't recall I've ever prepared for anything anytime.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. I didn't do it. I just did it. And therein lies a bigger message on the in the behind this statement that I just did it. The bigger message is, which I'm going to repeat at the end of this talk. And this is my message to everybody, by the way. I'm letting it out right now. All the limitations, all the difficulties, they only lie in your mind.
Mm,
Your body has immense power, immense capacity, immense capabilities. It is the mind that restricts it. So if you want to go ahead and do it, it will find a way to do it. The body will find a way to do it and it will execute it. So coming to the preparation part, which was the crux of your question, when I first time walked, first time meaning 5th of May, 2022, I have been not preparing anything. I just go for morning walks like anybody else, and that is about 3 miles, 5 kilometers. And that, not more than that. I did not prepare any more than that. So the first day, first night, that 2 a.m. to 12 noon, that prepared me for the next day.
wow.
Okay, so that was my first preparation. And the preparation was such that next day morning when I got up early morning at 1 a.m. to start the day again, I wasn't able to stand up on my feet.
Hmm.
Yes, it took few minutes to put my weight on my feet. And that day, again, I walked for 10 hours.
Wow.
So
So
where is the limitation? It is in your mind. It's
I
in
guess
your mind.
I
It's
guess
not.
I needed to hear this today. So like I'm extremely curious because I've seen backpackers go to mountaineering, whatnot, right? Um, do you carry a bag? What's in it? I'm just curious.
Very good question. This was also a learning because I told you I did it on a spur of the moment. I said that if I don't start, I won't be able to do. The only thing I did, and there's a very big significance to it, I went to the chief priest of Mahakaleshwar temple to tell him that I'm beginning a very big thing in my life. Please bless me. Okay. And when he heard, he was surprised. And he blessed me especially. What he did is he went inside and he brought a huge Rudraksh. You know what Rudraksh is? That big mala, huge, big size Rudraksh. And you know what he said, which at that time didn't mean much to me, but it was so correct and it did actually what he said. He says in Hindi, he said that, and I will repeat that in English afterwards. He said, Ye aapki raksha karega. This will protect you. And I had no meaning at that time to that why and how, but it did protect me, and I'll explain to you, and later on, hoping I'll have time to talk about it. As I said, if you let me talk, I will talk until the evening. But so, so this is how it started. That was the only preparation I had. I did not have, other than water or a little bit of food items for with me. That's all I carried. But I had to have everything with me. And that has to come somehow, even if I'm staying in a hotel or anything, I have to carry my personal belongings. So I that night thought of getting a car and letting that car that, hey guy, you just be somewhere on this highway, I'm walking.
Mm.
You just be around somewhere. So this guy used to go some 20 kilometers ahead, 50 kilometers ahead, and he'll just wait or sleep in the car, and I will just walk. And when I reach that guy will just drive further up, and but this was happening from Mahakaleshwar to Omkareshwar. But many things taught me to change this process, and this is one instance you would like. When I was coming down from Indore, you come down. Actually, it's a plateau. Indore is up. It's a plateau, and there's a thick forest. And this is exactly what I described earlier happened there, that I was trying, because of the heat of the day, I was trying different times. So I decided to try one day that how if I start at 2 p.m. and walk up to 2 a.m. And I did that. So around 6 o'clock, I was walking through this forest coming down in the valley and forest, and suddenly there were no vehicles on the road. And the car was, of course, somewhere else, 50 kilometers ahead. And I came to the same place as I described. And this is a leopard country, a lot of leopards there, okay? And I was suddenly found myself alone in the evening, heat, rivulet, and I felt that the whole noise stopped, the birds and everything. That happens when an animal walks in, a big cat walks in. So this Madhya Pradesh was a tiger country. So tigers have not come back yet, but the leopards are plenty. So I was in panic at that moment, and this is learning. So I called and phone worked. And I called my driver and I said, please come. I am in the middle of somewhere and I think there's something around here. I need immediately. The guy ran and he came in. It still took him a few minutes to get so many kilometers. But he came and then I kept him behind me with the headlights on.
Ah, okay.
And that night I walked through that jungle with the headlights on behind me, that guy. These are the learning things. But then I learned that even that was not enough. So I had to train him what to do if he suddenly sees that there is some leopard around or something is around. So he has to honk, he has to startle, and I have to walk backwards. I started carrying a stick so that at least I can swing once, if at all. I need a few seconds to get in the car for safety. And lo and behold, when I was near Somnath in Gujarat, I was walking in the night like this. There were these, bushes on the side, and I kept hearing some noise in the bush. Somebody walking in the bush. Okay, I thought it maybe dog or something. Doesn't matter. But then this driver behind me in the headlights, and he saw the two pairs of eyes, and he started honking. And I came backwards, and they were hyenas. Okay, so they were stalking me for a while actually in the night. But yeah, so such things happen. It has happened was that when I was walking since early, 2 a.m. or something, and then dawn happened. And in the dawn, I came across a board. There's a picture of that in my presentation. There's a picture that says, it shows a leopard and says that, please drive slowly because the leopards cross here, the highway. I was walking, I didn't know that leopards cross there, but I just came around it in the morning. So yeah, these things have happened and things have saved, but I have also passed through a place where I was inadvertently a witness to a criminal activity.
Oh.
And that's where this thing helped. This was the only thing. Until then, I used to dress in shorts and t-shirt, and I used to look like a normal hiker, not a pilgrim. But I had this mala on me. That was the only thing helped me, because I was questioned, I was interrogated by people. Who are you? And they thought I was a policeman in disguise. And disguise was this mala, but they had a doubt that I'm a pilgrim. So they let me go.
Wow.
So that protected me. That mala protected me. That day I changed my garb. I changed to proper kurta with the Sri Ram and Mahakaleshwar written on that, and pajama and all, and then I walked so that I look more like a pilgrim. I wanted to look more pilgrim because I'm walking through remote areas. They were the sand mafia people. They were stealing sand from the quarry, and they are very bad people.
You know, I have a lot of mixed feelings here. I'm actually fascinated. I'm jealous. You get to experience this.
Yeah,
Um, you know, I have two questions.
yeah.
This is very scary to hear, even walking in the jungle, or it's not safe, or also like encountering some criminal activity. My first question is, how has been the support of your family throughout, when you just said like, and of or when you shared all these experiences? And my second question is, how have local communities, or how have like the other groups of people who have joined and who have supported you? Can you walk us through that? And I know you started alone, and I believe you have like a group of people now. You walk, do the Padayatra. So yeah, walk us through the entire process.
First of all, most of the time, 90% of my walk still is alone.
Okay.
People join for short whiles because they cannot do what I do. So they joined for short while. But it is becoming a movement in the sense that people are coming in and joining at times, but it's still my 80% of walk is alone. But there is a little good story. Your question is so interesting and pertinent. You understand one of the objectives you said about the literacy thing. So how do I do this literacy? Let me preface that answer to that question with this story. Uh, Literacy, I am in the unique position to stand in front of these students and schools in the villages, remotest villages where hardly anybody goes. So Rotary has this program called Each One Teach One. It says that, okay, a student from 8th grade or 11th grade or 10th grade or college student can adopt one illiterate person from rural place. Mostly you'll find that person in rural India. So you adopt one and you go through a small booklet. There's a coursework. Rotary uses that coursework. So they try to do this from wherever the Rotary clubs are. But I am walking through that, so I stand in front of these students in the schools. So there was this small place called Amreli in Gujarat before Somnath, and I was talking to these kids. They were really 8th graders and 8th to 10th graders, and there was this one girl, okay, in 8th grade, and she stood up and asked me, "How on earth your family allows you to walk like that?" She asked me that. She was, how does your family allow? And she was so considerate about that. She could understand the gravity of it. And I was not talking about these risks or anything at that time. To kids, I don't talk this. But she asked me that. And yes, they have given up. The answer is yes. They have given up, but that is what it is. But I have also kind of undertaken, because I'm not just brute forcing it. I've taken precautions, like I now keep car. All these times the car was not with me, despite having that original idea of having car behind me. I was still lax. In the daytime, I'll send it off. I would be alone, and that I have stopped now. So as this has progressed, now I make sure that that guy is a distance, visible distance somewhere. Because another thing is that when I'm staying in most of the time I'm sleeping in temples, by the way.
Mhm.
So gas station and temples are the most likely places where I'm staying. So over there, I don't get any amenities. It is
Correct.
only a bed and a bathroom, if I'm lucky. So what happens is, I need a bucket, I need a mug, I need something. So take bath, I have to fill water in it from the tap. And every basic thing, I need tea, coffee, I need a cup, I need a little kettle to make, plug it in if there's electricity. So every single thing I carry now in the car.
Yes.
So cars will remain somewhere around in the phone distance. But now I have become a little more concerned that daytime and nighttime, I can get in this kind of situations where I may need that person. So when that sand mafia thing happened, the car was not around with me, and they noticed a lone person walking with nothing around, and that was a jungle, and they really thought that this must be an informer. So they were afraid of him. So yes, so that was the question about that. Hey, how they have given up, first of all. There was another question I forgot. Can you ask again? You asked me something else.
Yeah. So the first question was how your family is supporting you. And my second question was same on the Each One Teach One initiative. How have local communities supported you
Oh,
in?
local community. Yes, correct, correct. So let me take you to the other aspect of the local community. It's a very amazing thing. Everywhere I pass through, I'm stopped by people. They want to respect me. They touch my feet. They want to keep blessed. Okay. If I'm passing through a village or a town, they want to stop me and invite me to their homes, huts. And there are pictures in that presentation, which passed by quickly. But I'm sitting in those places where these people are ordinary small villagers. They want to feed me. Their main thing is feed me. Many times I have seen that I'm walking and suddenly a person approaches me from behind on a motorcycle and is a stranger. Stops and says, I brought some fruits for you.
Oh my
I brought some food. I saw you walking from distance. I brought some food for you. Total stranger. You know, people. I was walking through Run of Kutch. You know what is Run of Kutch is,
God.
right?
Yep.
It's a
Yes.
flat land, featureless land. There's a picture in there. Miles you don't see anything. I did not have any navigation in there. I was walking through that Kutch. I had crossed that Kutch. So over there also, when I was getting into Kutch, Run of Kutch. Before that, the villages. There were villages where nobody goes to those villages. Nobody passes through the villages. Outsiders are not going to. It's not on a tourist map or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were so amazed, and this practically happened in some extent everywhere. That every vehicle passing by will stop and they will touch my feet on the road, on the main road. And then those who did not, when I reach a village, they're waiting for me over there to take me to their homes and offer me food. I mean, there's so much of cultural attachment and so much of things that, they just want your blessings. They want your blessings. So the respect. Uh, Even the workers working in the fields, they see me, they come running because they understand this is a Padyatri, this is a Tirthyatri. They understand fully well, they understand. And that is exactly when I tell them what I'm doing, they are even more, they bring their children out. I talk to their children. So this is the each one teach one about thing. So they help me and they kind of take me to the schools. They talk to me about what they are and how they are making their living. Everything, even about there was one place where I was walking. There was a guy in the farm. On the farm, he was working manual labor. He ran to me. He started me. He made me sit down on the road, on the floor, on the ground. He sat down under the tree and he said that he's so much overwhelmed because I'm coming from, where? Ujjain. That guy he knew the importance of it. This was a laborer in Gujarat. And he had a very strong feelings about the ancient towns and things. And he was knowledgeable. I asked him, how do you know about that? And he said, TV serial. There was some TV serial that he knew about the ancient Ujjain. And he was overwhelmed and he was very much fascinated by that. So yes, I'm getting a lot of good interaction. But the bigger interaction, and this is important, is about interaction with youth. They are so aspirational. They want to go to college. They want to go to, study. And here is some paradigm shift, which you would be surprised to notice. I was walking one day at 8 a.m. I had just come out of a small town or a village, just 10 kilometers out of that. I saw one teenager, or maybe 16, 17, 18 years old. He was still teenager. He was herding cattle to for the grazing. Okay. So what would you assume if you see a shepherd boy? I assumed that, okay, this guy is now, that is his occupation. So I asked him, I said, did you ever go to school? I didn't ask ever. I asked, how much did you learn? How many grades did you do in the school? Did you go to school and how many grades did your teachers? You know what he said? His answer got, oh yes, I have a class at 9 o'clock. I'm in the college. He's in the degree college. He is shepherding cattle. Is it?
Evening college.
Yeah, and he goes, he does every day. He puts the cattle to the grazing field, and then he goes back to college, and then he comes back and takes the cattle and brings home. Can you imagine that thing? That's a paradigm shift. I never thought that the only shepherd who was I thought they were all people who could never fortunate enough to go to school or anything. That's why they're doing this job. But this was a change. So places I've seen where uh, small villages, a tea stall by the side of the road, an 8-year-old girl coming out, what do you want to be? The answer is, I want to be a doctor. This is outright in the interior street. So do you go to school? Yes, I do. But there's no school here. Where do you go? Oh, it is 15 kilometers away. How do you go 15 kilometers away? There's a bus that comes, otherwise I bike. Can you
Wow.
imagine that?
When
Amazing.
telling the story, I can actually imagine you walking and people, coming and interacting with you. Like it is like a movie that is playing in my head. So I'm really, really happy that you're sharing all this information with our audience and with us. And again, like I'm so, so inspired. I also want to take a quick break here, Vijayji. Bengaluru Voice is actually very fortunate to have our sponsor. So let's take a quick break and then we'll be right back.
Definitely. See you again.
Tax, the leading tax consultant in the Bay Area. Prasanna Kumar ಅವರು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೇ ಏರಿಯಾದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್. Tax filing, tax preparation, accounting, planning, bookkeeping services for individual ಅಥವಾ small business. ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೀಚ್ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಕುಮಾರ್ at 408-222-0259. ಮೈಸೂರು ಶ್ರೀರಂಗ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಯೋರ್ ಆಟೋಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. 20 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದಲೂ ಬೇರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಾಹನದ ಆರೈಕೆಗೆ ಒನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಟೋ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. ಶ್ರೀ ಆಟೋ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಫ್ರೀಮಾಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅವರ ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 510-996-8404. ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ 510-996-8404. ಅಮೇರಿಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ನ ಸಹಕಾರ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್. ಎಸ್, ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ಟಾಪ್ ನಾಚ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರೇ. ಕನ್ನಡದವರೇ ಆದ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಜೊತೆ ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೀ ಈಸ್ ಸೋ ನಾಲೆಜಬಲ್. ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್, ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಹೌಸ್ ತಗೋಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬೀಚ್ ಯೋರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಆರ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆನಿ ಮೋರ್. ಫಾರ್ ರೀಚ್ ಔಟ್ ಗಿರೀಶ್ at 408-420-0646 ಅಥವಾ gbangalore@interroad.com. ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ? ಬಟ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ತಲೆನೋವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್, ಎಸ್, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, 401k ರೋಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರಿಟೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್, ಡೆಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್, ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಲೈಫ್, ಆಟೋ, ಹೋಮ್, ರೀಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮಾರ್ಗೇಜ್ ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗೆ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಎಸ್, ರೀಚ್ ಔಟ್ ಟು ಅನಿಲ್ ಹಾಲಪ್ಪ. ಹೌದು, ಅನಿಲ್ ಹಾಲಪ್ಪ ಅವರ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ 209-380-9858 ಅಥವಾ halappa@primerica.com. ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಬಿಗ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಶ್ರೀ ವಿಜಯ್ ರಾಜವೈದ್ಯ ಜಿ. We have talked about the personal journey and inspiration, project objectives and progress, engagement and community support. Before I ask my next question, I would like to show our audience one more time the video that we played in the beginning of the program, so you know how difficult it is to cover that big journey with an amazing objective. So let's go and watch the video and come back. Vijayji, I have few questions on the impact and how do you measure the success of the educational aspect of it? Do you maintain like a, uh, like, hey, I have spoken to so many students. Hey, I have a goal of talking to or educating, 100 students in the next, next part of the journey, or or are you planning to write a book about it?
So, okay, yeah, a few questions in there. So, how do I measure that? Particularly about literacy program, I closely interact. I'm a Rotarian, so closely interact with the Rotaries. So, local Rotary helps me in connecting to the schools and then conducting the program of each one teach one. It is a coursework. I'm taking the front end of it, that effort, meaning I'm going and introducing to people that do this thing, and then they have to follow up with that so that they distribute the coursework and then they enroll people. Now, we have very hard targets, goals, by the way, in this. Uh, by we have to achieve 100% literacy in India by 2030. And in Madhya Pradesh, where I started this walk from Ujjain, within that state itself, we have 10 million estimated people who have no literacy. So they have to be brought up, and their goal is even ahead. It is 2027. So they want to do it by 2027. So it is going through and recruiting people to get into people, meaning students, kids, high school, middle school kids who can go and teach somebody through that booklet. And let local Rotary clubs follow through that. So that's how it is happening. The other objective, which is the other end of education, is about the whole idea of, knowledge of our own culture, our own heritage, our own ancient, knowledge system. We call it Indian Knowledge System, IKS. And if you want to know more about it, you can actually go to the website, which has come up, just launched few weeks back, 2 weeks back, about this walk. And it is called knowingindia.org. Knowingindia.org, which is developing on this walk itself. And there is a Facebook page also, which is Walk of Life, #2 in the end, in the Facebook. So you will find a lot of these things, information about my effort over there. So about the education, cultural education part, this part is very funding intensive. We need to have a lot of funding support to start a study chair in the US, for example, in a major university. So if you want to start something like, say, a study chair in, say, Stanford or Cornell or Harvard or somewhere, it will take at least $5 million. And if you want to do a research center, it takes about $10 million. So we, in our this effort that is started as a one person walking at 2 a.m. on 5th May, now has collected a lot of people around who are actually, these people of highly accomplished people, by the way. And these are the people who are helping us conduct the fundraising part of it, putting the trust together, all the infrastructure they are building behind. And they are coming and walking with us too, many of them. So I'm getting a lot of support from Indian Armed Forces, by the way. So my constant companion is General Pitre, who comes and walks with me first 2 days of every time. Okay. There is another gentleman from a retired senior officer from Indian Navy will be joining me this. I have quite a few people who are coming in from the administrative services. These are the people who have given a lot to the country, the community. And my thing is that they have to come back again and help us now to spread this knowledge further, Indian knowledge system, and therefore help us, whether in walk or whether in organizing this effort to do the funding part of it. So we have people also who are experienced in establishing these chairs in the universities. So they are helping us in the front end. We already are talking to some universities. So the fundraising activity is now taking shape slowly, and we will be doing that part. So that will take, because my walk will take few years to complete. And in that time, we want to achieve this. But there is another thing that we are doing, the third objective that generally does not get that much of press, and that is that we are trying to scale this effort. And scale this effort in the sense is doesn't mean that you have to come and join me in walk. You can join, you can start walk anywhere you are. And you do regularly organize a walk to some place and make it a habit. You know, there is a saying in Hindi, and I will translate that in English, which is a very pertinent saying, and that goes in the end towards also the final message kind of thing. Like I said earlier, that limitations are in mind. This is also another one of similar kind. There is a saying in Hindi which says, "Budhapa paon se aata hai."
Mm.
Old age seeps through legs, not any other way. If your legs become weaker, you are going to get age, you are going to age very, very fast. Keep your legs healthy and you will not age. Even the mind will be up and very functional if your legs are working. How strange, isn't it? There's nobody thinks that this is the way it
Correct.
happens. So our effort is this walking, which is the cheap, there's no expense in it. You can, if you can start this as a culture, if this becomes a culture of walking, I think you get all the exercise that you need. You can also have a phenomenal health benefits by this. Because if you're not aging fast enough, you have a very good health benefit. So we want to start this as a movement, that walk. Organize your walks in your own town. So that's why I'm saying this, people of accomplishments, they can lead in their own places. Armed forces, law enforcement, academia, in administrative services, these people who are leaders, you know, they were leaders, they have given for their active career a lot to the society and the community, should come out and organize these things and associate it with the walk of life. We are registering them as this. So this should become a culture, you know, total culture that we walk. So this
Vijay, you are making my life easier because I don't even have to answer ask you my next question, because you answered that in this. We are also getting some questions from the audience. One of the question was, how can this pick? I mean, of course, you're doing an amazing job, great service. How can this pick up momentum and can make a difference? Which you already answered. Yeah. Thank you. My next question is, you have traveled so much, and then you have seen, I mean, you have had challenges. What has been the most rewarding aspect of leading this Padayatra? And an additional question to this is, you are also educating people on the way. How do you see that India becomes knowledge capital of future? You know, those two questions combined.
There's a first question. Let me answer that first question. The biggest thing is, and it's the most surprising thing that I'm finding, because I didn't expect it, the aspirations that I'm seeing from the people. In my presentation, there's a picture of a girl in the title motivation for this walk. That girl is a flower vendor in Omkareshwar. Look at that temple. And she sells flowers along with her younger sister. But she goes to a school and she wants to become an IPS officer.
Wow.
And she's already working towards getting that coaching and selling flower in the data. Imagine that. That is the inspiration. And this is not at one place. I found it across. I have walked from middle of the country to the extreme western point, and now I'm moving towards the north. And everywhere, I have found youth highly aspirational. There is no this thing that, oh my God, what am I going to do? There is no such feeling. They are just amazingly, they are aiming high and they want to achieve it. And the facilities are there. So this is the biggest rewarding thing, that a connection with this firsthand is amazing experience. It's tremendous experience. And of course, following that is connecting with other people. Amazing. That third thing is a discovery. When you're walking through this, you're going through so many different environment every day, biome, whole bacteria, things change, for me. So you imagine how much it does to the body. It makes you like you can take anything, right? you can go through anything. So that's a very, very good thing that comes of health. So walking is related to health. That is one thing that's very important. Your second question was second part of this question, I forgot.
So my second part of the question was, how do you see that India becomes knowledge capital of future?
Yes. Uh, most of the problems happen because of ignorance, right? So ignorance is the biggest thing. And ignorance is such an amazing thing. We know there is a saying, ignorance is bliss. Because ignorant person will not know that he or she is ignorant, right? You don't know that. That is exactly why this is the issue. So the spreading of knowledge is important. Now come down to Ujjain. Let's just take an example of Ujjain. Ujjain was an intellectual capital of India. Imagine this. And let me give you an example why I call that. Kalidasa, you heard about? Kalidasa is the literature, Sanskrit literature. He wrote Meghdut in Ujjain. He was from Ujjain. He lived in Ujjain. Okay? Ujjain is on the Tropic of Cancer, from where we could observe the cosmos with a very particular quality to it. And they had a specific observatory for observing Mars. Still, if you go over there, there is a place called temple called Mangalnath. It was not a temple. It was an observatory for just the planet Mars. And the archaeology monument outside describes that thing, that this is an observatory for Mars. And phenomenal amount of work was done in astronomy, in mathematics, in literature, in all aspects of science, and we do not know about it. And it is not just the ancient India, it continued in Kerala. There are centers where amazing amount of mathematical work has been done until 15th or 16th century, when something happened and that stopped it. There was an intervention from outside. But yes, we had been having this knowledge thing. So first of all, knowledge that you have acquired, come on, let us know about it. That will make you understand and respect your own heritage, what you know, what you have. Okay, our treatise on astronomy was written 2,500 years back, Surya Siddhant, which is an amazing book on astronomy. It is not for beginners. It is an advanced book on astronomy. So we have to first know about ourselves. So that is how we can become, the knowledge center. Once we have to take pride in already what we are. And then from there, progress, because there is a tremendous amount of desire among the people to learn. Tremendous amount of desire.
Amazing. I mean, I cannot believe we are almost like the top of the hour. Like it's almost.
We are.
I
Yes.
have so many questions, like my curious mind. But, I want to ask you last two questions. How can people contribute to this amazing cause?
So there's a contact information. Maybe if you can display, they can reach out to me. If you can show this, there are two of us, one in India, one over here. And we have a banking arrangement that from which or Google Pay and all, we have all those set up, which I can give to the people when they contact me. And that will be very helpful, because this has to take, this is a very big task. It is not a small task. And we have to really scale that. We are trying to scale in that, and will be very helpful. Anything that you, so far, I've done it on my own, by the way, until now. Yes.
Amazing. So we also have at Bengaluru Voice, we ask our guests to give a message to our audience worldwide. And in the beginning, you also said, where there is a will, there is a way. I would like to request you to expand on that and, you know, talk talk about the motivation and how we can contribute as well.
Yeah. So first of all, the message that I had earlier mentioned about the mind, limitations being in your mind. That's it. The body will do a lot of wonderful things if your limitations in the mind are removed. And that can be done by this another thing that is called, there is no second step without the first one. You have to take the first step. You can do planning to the paralysis level, but if you don't take the first step, you're not going to make progress. So whatever it could be, you have to take first step. Whether it is, it is walking like this, or whether it's in the learning or anywhere, you have to take the first step. So limitations in mind is my primary thing, and your health. Your health is important. Walking is the simplest thing you can do to improve your health. And that does not require any equipment. It does not require any expense. You can just walk. So that's my biggest message that I want to get out. This directly relate to the objectives. That is why it is important.
Wonderful. As I said, like I can keep on going and ask my questions, and it can go up to 1 more hour. But I would like to request my team members to turn on their video and thank you. Thank you. So I really want to thank our audience for staying with us for this amazing journey. Today we talked about Jyotirlinga Padayatra, Walk of Life, a project which has an extensive initiative aimed at enhancing literacy and promoting Indian culture. This ambitious project led by Sri Vijay Rajvaidya ji involves walking over 6,000 miles, which is close to 9,000 kilometers across India. And we also heard what kind of challenges that Vijay ji has faced, how rewarding it is. And we wish from Bengaluru Voice team that this journey will be successful. And we would love to see your work, this amazing journey that you undertook will be successful. We are very sure of that. And then we talked about your journey, inspiration, what are the next steps, objective and progress, and how our team can contribute towards your goals. We really, really appreciate Vijayji, your time. I know you had you had a busy day yesterday too, and we really appreciate that. ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀ ವಿಜಯ್ ರಾಜವೈದ್ಯ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ರು. ಮನಸ್ಸಿದ್ದರೆ ಮಾರ್ಗ 72ನೇ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಷ್ಟು ಹುರುಪಿನಿಂದ ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಇರುವ 12 ಜ್ಯೋತಿರ್ಲಿಂಗಗಳ ಜ್ಯೋತಿರ್ಲಿಂಗಗಳಿಗೆ ಪಾದಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮೂಲಕ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹಾಗೆ to promote education. This is an amazing initiative, and we were very fortunate to have Sri Vijay ji. ಹೀಗೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಾರ ಕೂಡ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ಸಾಧಕರನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತೀವಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ರಾರಾಜಿಸ್ತಿರ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್, ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್.
ಆಲಿಸು ಗೆಳೆಯನ ಹೃದಯದ ಮಾತೊಂದ, ಬಿಚ್ಚಿಡು ಬಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಟ ಮನದ ಕನಸೊಂದ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಮಯ ಮುಂದೆ ಇಡಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ನಿನ್ನ ಸಾಹಸ ರಥಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾರಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸಿದೆ. ನಿನ್ನ ಬಾನಂಗಳ ಕೆಳೆದೊಯ್ಯುವ ರೆಕ್ಕೆಯಾಗಿ ಕೂಡಿದೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್. Listen to your heart.